Hey YouTube, welcome to Big Time Nights. I want to do a little, reaction to this little drama that's going on with Final Fantasy XVI. Because it's a game that I had circled on my map for a while. I played the demo. I loved every moment of it, but it seems like players are trying to boycott it, and I'm like, what? Why? And so found this little article and let me read a bit of it and see what I think about it. Here, the article is named "Here's Why Some Players Plan to Boycott Final Fantasy XVI." Some Final Fantasy players have revealed they plan to boycott Final Fantasy XVI due to the development team's continuously questionable response to the lack of diversity in the game. Okay. Last November, producer no Naoki Yoshida. I know who Yoshida is, but I'm tongue tied, so forgive me. Addressed the lack of diversity in an interview. The response did little to assuage the concerns of black and minority ethnic players. Well, I wasn't part of that group, so let's continue. In direct response to this, some players are now planning to boycott Final Fantasy XVI due to the lack of diversity and minority characters. The Final Fantasy XVI's time period is like medieval time period, medieval European history time period. So it's pretty obvious there's not going to be a lot of black characters in that time period, nor are there going to be like Asian characters. And the makers of this game are like Asian guys. It's just the time frame, the timepiece. It is what it is. It's medieval European history. And so just throwing in diversity just for diversity's sake and reaching that quota is not doing anyone any justice. And I'll tell you a little bit about like my history when it comes to games and diversity and all that kind of stuff, representation. I've been playing video games for 30 years, or for over 30 years. I never gave a shit who, the color of someone's skin on the game I'm playing. My favorite video game character ever is a white guy with white hair. Dante. Devil May Cry. Come on now. My favorite Marvel superhero is a white scientist who gets bigger and turns green. My favorite overall superhero is a white billionaire detective. Batman. What else? My favorite fictional character in all of anything is a white guy, and his name is Guts in Berserk. And you if you follow this channel, you see my videos, you see me like hinting at Guts often, pretty dang often. I have like a kind of a foolery picture of him back there. That's a cross between Guts and Chainsaw Man. But like I don't care. It's about like the content of their character. I don't give a shit about their skin color. I really don't. Is it a good character? Do I relate to the character? There's more things that I relate to than just skin color. Like to be honest, my favorite, I think Blade is a badass. He happens to be black, but I still think he's badass. But to be honest, he is not my favorite vampire slayer. If you guys follow my channel, you know who my favorite vampire slayer is. And it's a small white girl. Buffy. Come on now. But no, seriously, Buffy. A lot of the Final Fantasies, like my favorite Final Fantasy is Final Fantasy IX. That was kind of like a medieval kind of time period as well. And mostly white cast, I believe, all white. Vivi was like that kind of. I have a poster of Vivi too. He was like a black mage, so he was like black, but he wasn't like a human or anything like that. And I went on to play 8, 7, 7 mostly Asian cast. 8 I think is mostly Asian cast, and those are like bit futuristic. 10 Titus, he might appear blonde, but he's like Asian guy. 12, I actually don't know what the hell the racial makeup of the main character of 12 is. I forget his name too. I think he was just a mix. But I don't care. I really don't care. It's about the content of their character. Are they badass or not? Do I jive with them or not? So it like just reaching a quota for diversity's sake is I don't like it. Like just tell good stories. Like in Game of Thrones, I don't care that no like black characters and no, they tell a good story, so that's what I'm there for. I don't know, man. I'm a progressive guy. I'm in Washington State and everything, but like sometimes I feel like, man, I'm just different. Like what the hell? But yeah. And what's a quote from here? And I want to mention, guys, my favorite history actually, growing up in high school was medieval history. Like other history classes I taken, I don't know. All the histories, American history and all that kind of stuff, African history, whatnot. But medieval history was the class I aced that class like crazy. The other ones I probably got like a B's and stuff like that. But I aced medieval history. And you want to know why? Because it was fascinating. While like that time period, that timepiece, them dudes were savages, straight up. Like, I wouldn't want to live in that time period, but being on the outside, it is fascinating. Like, just hearing how those people live, what they went through, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure there's all sorts of amazing histories out there, but medieval history was just like, they did what? They tortured a person how? What? Like, that's the reason why a show like Game of Thrones is so like fun to watch and whatnot, because it takes place in that kind of medieval history kind of setting. And it's you get a lot of crazy stories from it. So, but it's European history. It is what it is, man. Let me continue with the article. However, at the time of this writing, over 1,200 players responded to the poll, but just 2.9% of those, and that's around 40 people, are intending to intentionally boycott the release, with 72.8% still committed to buying it despite the issues, and I'm part of that. 24.3% of those polled didn't plan on picking up Final Fantasy XVI at all. And a quote, "No, if I boycotted games due to the lack of diversity in terms of characters that look like me, I wouldn't have shit to play." Outside of a few indies at best, to put it bluntly, explained one fan. Rep for black women in gaming is abysmal across the board. And I would say it's even worse for South Asian women, South American women, etc. Since the very first time I started playing games, another quote, since the very first time I started playing games before the age of 5, I played games based on if they are fun or not. Same. 30 some years later, this has not changed. Same. And coming from a black person, if you want to boycott, go for it. I'm there day one. Same. I'm there day one. People say you shouldn't pre-order, but this is the kind of game I pre-order. I'm there for the ride, man. I'm there for the experience. You know, let me show you guys something. I bought a fighting game fight stick, and I changed the art cover on it. And who did I change it to? A white guy. We got guts berserk. I mean, it is what it is, man. He motivated me a lot, you know, struggling, getting over your struggles and whatnot, persevering, the workout, the ethic, and you know, just doing that training. And so that's kind of drove me in a lot of what I do. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that character. And who drew and who came up with that character, with that white character? It was an Asian man. The greatest mangaka of all time, Kentaro Miura. The greatest. Go, rest in peace. But yeah, it's just tell good stories, and I'll follow the characters. White, Asian, Indian. I don't care. You know, I'm just there for characters I can relate to. I can relate to these characters even though they're a different skin color. It just does not matter to me. But anyways, that's my 2 cents. I am not boycotting Final Fantasy XVI. I'm paying. I already paid, and I'm gonna have fun on day 1. All right, guys. That's my 2 cents. Until next time, peace out.